we have Khalil and Sakaria as the two Indian quick.
It's craziness here at the IPL auction. Always is. Some with just the number of bids they get. Some strangely with some teams saying, well, does this team really need this person? Then some going unsold. Then some getting picked at base price. As they say, it's all happening at the Waka. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Harsha Bhogle and Joy Bhattacharjya. It's all happening, isn't it, Joy? It's all happening.
I love it. I love it. And no matter how unexpected you find, the auctions are always glorious, uncertain. Still, there'll be stuff that surprises you, even when you expect that, okay, anything can happen.
Yeah.
16 crores for Pooran. 16 crores for Pooran after a season which was not exactly the great.
Middling, you'd call it middling.
Which was a season that was followed by one that he couldn't score a run for. Where was he? Was he KK? Where was Pooran? He couldn't score a run. At Punjab, couldn't score a run.
Then Hyderabad, dropped by Hyderabad, and now 16.
Couldn't score a run at the T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
And then went to the T10 in Abu Dhabi, and it was like I fasted for a month, so I need to eat for 2 days.
Yeah.
So he went and ate everything he could at the T20, at the T10.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a seriously good player. There's no doubt. But for a long time, the performance hasn't kept pace with promise. So from time to time, he'll play in innings. You look at it and say, wow. But the consistency that you need to be a player bought at that price has eluded him so far.
But the purse right now is aligned neither with promise or performance, because 16 crores is big. And for Lucknow, now, I mean, look at the money they've spent, right? Most of that money, all of that money has been spent on Nicholas Pooran, essentially. And they only have 6.4 crores left. But again, I'm thinking, right? And Joy, this is where my mind goes. They had Evan Lewis, right? And again, you don't, I mean, I'm not saying that Evan Lewis is, you're not comparing player to player, but the kind of job, you always want jobs to be, roles to be filled. They had Evan Lewis, and he did well in the limited opportunities he got.
He got very few opportunities, to be honest with you. They played him a couple of times, then he sort of hit one bad shot, got out, and then sort of...
He won one game against CSK. If you're getting a player to play less than half the matches and he wins you one game, that's like a player winning you 3 playing the full season.
I think he's not available this year. Is he injured? Something? He's not available this year? Evan Lewis?
No, he was released.
No.
Yeah, I know.
He was released. And then they've got... I'm just saying, it's sometimes you don't understand.
Pooran is a very simple thing. I mean, I think Oscar Wilde had this fantastic definition of a second marriage. And he called it a triumph of hope over experience. So Nicholas Pooran, every time he's bought, is a triumph of hope over experience. People have bought him for a high price, hope that he'd do something. They haven't done it, but next year somebody else believes the story.
So here's the thing. This is the only show where you'll get quotes from Keeping Up with the Kardashians as well as Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde? Oscar Wilde ही बोला था ना?
Wilde.
Wilde. If he can say Wilde, yeah? Exactly.
Say Wilde because...
Like Adam Milne becomes Milne, Oscar Wilde becomes Wilde, and there was some Izhar hook. So he got a hook on his name, Faruqi.
Chitanalar?
Yeah.
I
don't know. I just can't. I have to wait in an Indian auction. I have to wait to see the names.
Graphic, yeah.
Because I have no idea what the player's name is.
So I think sometimes the teams are also waiting because the graphic is very long.
Yeah, because the graphic comes and says, oh, that was that.
Yeah. Everyone's trying to decode. We're trying to decode a lot more than just names.
Correct.
We're trying to decode games, the games that people play. It's these 10 teams.
I just have one thing. I think the only reason why Pooran might have gone for so much is, I mean, whatever little I've spent a few years with Gautam Gambhir.
Yeah.
And he craves this kind of guy who's a match finisher.
Okay.
Who one day when he explodes, finishes everything off.
Fair enough.
In KKR times, Yusuf Pathan was that kind of a player. Yusuf Pathan wouldn't come off that many times. But when he came off, he could change a match, transform a match. And perhaps what they've got is they've got a stock of really good players who can sort of get it there. And if you have one guy who can just take you over the top like that once in a while, that's perhaps what he's looking at.
Here's the thing. You make a good point about Gambhir, but I think most teams are looking for this, right? When they pay big money or they bid aggressively behind a player, they're hoping that their champion players can win them at least 2 games in an IPL, right? Because if you have 3 or 4 champion players, there's your qualification. If they can all pitch in and do that. So, I mean, what Gautam is going for there is not unique. I think all players are going for that. You can win a couple. Evan Lewis, actually, I'm told, withdrew his name from the auction this year because he said, I've not got enough chances. So therefore, I will not give myself any more chances. That's what he's saying.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what he
Let's
said.
wrap our heads around it.
Yeah, let's wrap our heads. Make of that what you will. But here's some of the good buys that have happened. We were talking about Gujarat wanting or needing an Indian wicketkeeper, right? They've got the Indian wicketkeeper bat. It was Delhi who let KS Bharat go. They hadn't retained him, and they've got KS Bharat. They've got him at a good price. They've got Odin Smith that they got earlier. Shivam Mavi. Let's talk about that as well, because Shivam Mavi again has broken the bank. I don't think he expected to be going for that sum.
I thought he'd go about 3.
Yeah.
I've liked what I've seen of Shivam Mavi. He's got genuine pace. He's got something about him. People remember him for the Prithvi Shaw, where Prithvi Shaw went after him and hit him 6 fours in and over.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about Shivam Mavi. I'm not sure he's the leader of an attack, but
GT doesn't need a leader anyway, right? Because they've got Shami, so they don't need a leader. They've got Yash Dayal. Yash Dayal is them.
Yeah, the left
so they've
side,
got
yeah.
Yash Dayal. No, Kuldeep Sen is Rajasthan.
Rajasthan, right?
It's Yash Dayal is the one.
Yeah, Yash Dayal is here.
My apologies.
Shami is here. Now they've got Shivam Mavi. So their team actually starts looking quite interesting.
I'm starting to think, what kind of surfaces are we going to get in Ahmedabad?
Yeah.
Because look at the people they've picked. They've picked Odin Smith, maybe as backup for Alzari. I don't think Odin is a regular 4 overs bowler yet.
No.
But if you give him a marginal role, he can win you. We can win you a couple of matches. They've gone Shivam Mavi. They've got Pradeep Sangwan. That's all right. Yash Dayal, Mohammad Shami. So I think they're just trying to close. It's starting to look pretty much like the earlier side, no?
I'm just thinking,
There's no big defining, big spender, but that's what Gujarat Titans are probably going to be.
Yep.
notes. I mean, my only thing is that just take a look at that squad again. Who are the designated spinners? When you go to Chennai, when you go to a surface like that, there's Rashid Khan.
Yep,
And
obviously. Sai Kishore, Rahul Tewatia, Jayant
So
Yadav.
they have Shai Kishore also. Yeah, you're right. Tewatia.
I asked Rahul Tewatia last year. He said, "Sir, रोज 1 घंटा bowling डाल रहा हूँ मैं nets में, लेकिन match में देते नहीं है मेरे को." But he can bowl. He can bowl. So Rahul Tewatia, if you go to another place,
You're right. Actually, Jayant Yadav is also there. I didn't see Jayant Yadav there, and he's a pretty decent prospect. So yeah.
In this part of the auction, from the last time we came to now in these sets, the biggest shopping cart was with SRH. Hyderabad just rolled that shopping cart down the aisle and kept themselves pretty busy. They kept themselves pretty busy in that part of the auction. And they had some good buys there. And they had some good domestic buys. So obviously, you're looking at they are looking at their domestic scouts. And their domestic scouts have done the job for them.
yeah, they're taking the Vivran Sharma from Jammu Kashmir.
Yep.
There's obviously been a little bit of buzz around him. What's the word you use? There's the Mahal created.
Mahal.
I think we should start trending hashtag Mahal.
Hashtag Mahal.
So
Mahal banaiye.
So Vivran Sharma is probably a bit of a backup to Rahul Tripathi, Abhishek Sharma, that kind of player. Probably a backup to them.
Yeah.
Samarth
Vivran for
Vyas,
2.6 crores, by the way. Samarth Vyas and Sanveer Singh at base price, 20 lakhs.
they've both had been pretty good domestic seasons.
Yeah, and Upinder Singh Yadav,
Yeah.
Upinder Singh Yadav at 25 lakhs. And Shashank Singh and Priyam Garg, who were formerly kind of the uncapped players that Hyderabad had invested in, they've got unsold. So, well, I guess they've just moved on.
Interesting, isn't it? If you're an under-19 player, you've got one season maybe to make an impact.
We close there.
If you don't make an impact in that one season, then you start to get lost slowly.
Yep.
Or you've got to be the franchise that really backs you. Sunrisers, for example, have really backed Abhishek Sharma.
Yep.
They gave Priyam Garg a few opportunities in the 2020 IPL.
They've given Samad also quite a bit.
Century. Yeah, he got 1/2 century.
Yep.
But I don't think he got too many more than that. So slowly, now you've got to go back to domestic cricket and say, look, I'm here. Same Yash Dhul. Everyone's talking about him. He's got to go back to domestic cricket, score a lot of runs, which he's doing at the moment.
He's doing.
Yes.
Which he's doing at the moment. So when you're an under-19 player, you get that year and then maybe a little bit more, that's all.
I mean, he has got a gig though. I mean, Yash Dhul has got Yash Dhul's with Delhi. So
Yes.
Yash Dhul has the gig. I don't know whether he'll get to play or not.
There's another from that team, Sheikh Rashid.
Yep.
Proper number 3 bat. You know, he looked very correct, very good. I'm not sure he's that enforcer at the top of the order, but he looks a really good player.
Which state is he?
Base
Sheikh
price to
Rashid from
Chennai.
Andhra.
From Andhra, base price to Chennai. He's been picked up
Yes.
at 20 lakhs by Chennai.
The other lovely story is Mukesh Kumar.
Yeah, your favorite. That was your pick. That was your pick.
I've followed his, I've not seen a lot of him, I'll be honest, but I've followed his career. 28, 29 years old, you know. So he's not really set the world afire when he was in his early 20s, but just gone up and up and up. And then when you start to do well for India A,
Yeah.
that is when you start to think, no, hang on, there's something about him, which is what Mohammad Siraj did. Started to do well for India A, then got picked.
Yeah.
So Mukesh Kumar has done well for India A. I think he was on course to make a test debut.
Yep.
With all the others all the others being injured. So Mukesh Kumar was probably at the start of the season number 16, 17 maybe on the list of Indian fast bowlers. Everyone else injured, so he's there. So he gets into a team where 100 test match bowler gets sold for 50 lakhs.
Yeah.
He gets 5.5 crores. If you want two numbers to tell you how stark the difference between the traditional formats of the game and this, there it is for you.
But there's also Ben Stokes, England Test captain.
Yeah, but I'm talking.
I'm kidding, of course. Yeah.
The future lies, of course. I mean, the best players are those that can play across formats.
But here's the thing, right? I mean, Ishant, I guess, again, happy to see him get a gig. Not picked last year's auction.
So Ishant,
What is a Bumrah thinking? Bumrah has been retained for how much? 10 crores? 11 crores?
yeah, he would be the second retention, I think, after
12. I think
12?
he was the second, right? No, or was Surya the second?
No, Surya the third. Can you imagine?
Surya was third. So
Can you imagine Surya
Bumrah was second.
far less than Harry Brook?
Yeah.
You think it's time will come and people say, I actually want to go in the auction, I don't want to be retained.
Yeah, fair point.
But what is also happening is, reason they're getting these amounts of money is, this year it's 95 crores. When we used to get taken aback by the 15, 16 crores, it used to be 65, 70 crores.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden you've got more than 20 crores for the same number of players.
Correct.
So players will start getting what seem to be disproportionate amounts. No, what seem to be large amounts, but are not disproportionate.
Yeah, well, I mean, free market, right? So you see who's going where, and also depends on, there's so many other variables that come into play. One is, when does your name come? Has a big player just come before you? You know, where if somebody who wanted you has filled their bag with somebody else who, you know, could be in the same, and they've used the same kind of money. So there's a lot of things that come into play. Similarly, I think for Bangalore, great value purchase, Reece Topley, 1.9 crores.
Yeah. This Berendorf gone, Reece Topley come in. It's an upgrade.
Yeah.
And very calm upgrade. That's what I'm saying. The Gujarat Titans and Bangalore have played it very calmly, pick their spots, pick their moments, pick the one or two players they need.
Well, I mean, it's the entire Bangalore coaching unit that's sitting in Gujarat, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The former Bangalore coaching unit. Yeah.
There you go.
You know, they had David Willey. The moment they traded Jason Berendorf, David Willey is probably sitting there thinking, I think I've got a chance here now.
Yeah.
And they pick Reece Topley in, who's taken his England place. Who's taken David Willey. Actually, they open the bowling together and both get a chance. Otherwise, Reece Topley is the favoured bowler. I think England missed him at the World Cup. I mean, missed him. They still won it, but Reece Topley would have made it even easier.
This is like what we were saying about Kuldeep Yadav. No, could he have done more than winning the man of the match in the first Test match? Maybe England would have won the World Cup more decisively.
Convincingly. Yeah. Could be. Could be. That's how Chris Jordan got a few games. But I think Reece Topley gives you bowling at the top and gives you bowling at the death. In 2022, they don't agree with what I'm saying because it's showing economy rate of 10.7.
There is Knight Riders finally decided to buy some people, and they have a lot of slots to fill. They got Jagdish.
Were their hands getting a little tight?
No, I think they knew their budgets. They knew what they had.
Correct.
They spent their 20 crores beforehand, and they tried to bid. I think before Jagdishan, they tried to bid for Bharat.
Yeah.
KS Bharat. They went after KS Bharat, but I think Bharat went out of their reach. He went to finally to Gujarat, right?
Bharat went to Gujarat. So they've got Jagdishan, and they were in a bidding war with Chennai. So they got him for 90 lakhs, and they've got Vaibhav Arora for 60 lakhs. Yeah. By the way, the unsold surprises for me, I think, you spoke about Riley Russo being one. I think Akil Hussain.
Akil Hussain, Riley Russo will all both go.
Yeah.
They will both come back and go. Zampa will come back. I'm very, very sure. I've noticed in the last 2-3 mini auctions, they try and finish the young Indian players before trying to come back. Because international players, you have a far better idea of who's going to go after whom.
Yeah.
And Indian players, you don't know whether some other scout has scouted exactly the same guy as you.
Yeah.
And there are 3-4 favorites, and so they don't know how much money they're going to spend there. So all these guys try to keep their what they call the powder dry and say, I want to have about 5-6 crores right at the end.
Yeah.
And therefore, then I can pick up here, there. Nobody has money. I'll get Riley Russo at cost perhaps.
I think the message going out is, if you're an overseas spinner, it doesn't matter. You could be the best in the world. But look elsewhere. Yeah. Because Adam Zampa doesn't get a game, Akil Hussain doesn't get a game, Tabraiz Shamsi doesn't get a game, doesn't get picked, and Adil Rashid gets picked at base price.
Yeah.
These are 4 of the best spinners in the world game at the moment.
Yeah. In the T20 game, definitely. I mean,
I think for MI, a goodbye, a guy called Jai. That's it, I'm done. Mic drop, out of here. Jai Richardson, that's a goodbye for them. I mean,
14 crore player for Punjab Kings.
yeah.
Remember they went Jai Richardson,
Riley
14 crores,
Meredith.
Riley Meredith, 8.5 crores. Last year, Mumbai picked Riley Meredith on the rebound, said no, thank you.
Yeah.
But they picked Jai Richardson purely as a backup for Jofra Archer.
Okay.
So we don't know. Jofra Archer has been picked for the ODIs. He could warm up nicely and be completely fit for Mumbai Indians.
Yeah.
But just in case that elbow starts flaring up again, do we have somebody else? Yes, we do. Jai Richardson can swing his bat at number 8 like Jofra Archer does. So it's not quite like for like. Archer's a wow player.
Yeah.
But they've got someone as a backup for Jofra.
Okay. Well, there's Jofra Archer and Jasprit Bumrah because we're talking about the bowling department of MI. They've gone ahead and bought Cameron Green for, 17 and a half?
Yes.
17 and a half crores. So they've got very little money to play around with, and we're still talking about their bowling, of course. But there you go. How much money does each team have? When I said Mumbai has very little, I meant very, very little, of course, because it's 1.55 this
क्या
time.
time है ना 1.5 crore रुपए हैं 1.5 crore and we're saying very little, but yeah, in the context it's
वो देखो ना सर आसपास देखो ना कौन कौन है मतलब आप देखें अगर पंजाब still has 13, you have Delhi which still has 11, so we can still see some madness that may ensue some bidding wars that
a lot
may
of good
happen.
players to come still.
A lot of good players to come.
a lot of good players to be bought back still also. I
Correct.
genuinely believe.
Okay.
But here's the thing now, right? When some of these good players will come back and they're thinking, I don't want to come back because nobody has any money.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's the problem with the IPL auction. Then you do a Jason Roy and don't turn up. But,
Yeah.
After a while, your reputation takes a bit of a hit. Then they won't call you for the auction after.
Correct. I mean, the fact is, I do want to go to the prom, but I do want to go on a limo. I don't want to go on a Razor scooter, right? So it's not how I want to go to the prom. All right. Well, that's all we have time for right now. We're going to go. We're going to come back in just a bit. Remember, there's 86 players in this process and all the sets. And after that, there is the accelerated part of the auction, which means that the teams will go through the remainder players, and whoever they want, they will just write down and tell, and those are the only players that will be brought up again. So that probably won't take too long. We'll be back in just a bit. Big thank you to Harsha, Bhogle and Bhattacharjya. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You've been watching Cricbuzz, and you'll continue watching Cricbuzz because you know where quality is.